Hey, what's good? It's Mr. Peace here. This email comes from someone that I will call Erica. Again, always changing names to protect people's identity and confidentiality. This is from back in May 2015, after one of my assemblies. This person writes, "I'm thinking of suicide," in all caps. "Help. I feel unwanted and not important. I feel bad and useless and that I have no purpose. What should I do?" So I replied back, and here's what I wrote. So I said, "Let me first start out by saying how moved I am by your courage to open up your feeling of possibly checking out suicide." I said, "For my experience, suicide is never about wanting to die. It's about not wanting to deal with the pain anymore, like I mentioned in my talk. That said, I wish that there was a magic formula that I could just give people a special pill to tell them how to get past all the depression or this phase of your life, but there's not. All I can say, though, is to never give up and to know you are loved by many and you are too important for this planet to ever consider taking your life. You have a purpose, a divine purpose, and I know in my heart of hearts that you are called to do great things. You will positively impact thousands of hearts and others during your lifetime by keeping your heart open. And I know this because you've already touched mine. As I talked about before, hurt people, and sometimes that people is ourselves. Yet it's also very true that healed people heal people. Dr. Carl Menninger, the famous psychiatrist, once gave a lecture on mental health and was answering questions from the audience afterwards. And someone said, "What would you advise a person to do if that person felt a nervous breakdown coming on or was depressed or thinking about suicide?" Most people expected him to reply, "Consult a psychiatrist, take some pills," so on and so forth, in terms of a prescription, right? Doctor's note to take to the pharmacy. But to their astonishment, he replied, lock up your house, go across the railway tracks, across the street, find someone in need, and do something to help that person." In other words, we need others and they need us to actually feel some worth in our lives. You never have to do this alone. You always have God, people like me who believe in you and will support you no matter what. Stay close to your friends, the rest of your family, in times of need, and know that your true best friends, blood or non-blood, will always be there for you when you need them the most. That's what true friends are about, right? And so you're supposed to cherish those types of relationships. One of my favorite quotes is that adversity is unavoidable. It's true, right? We're always going to have trials, but not insurmountable. Which is basically saying that we can't control the bad things that happen to us. Sometimes that stuff happens, right? But we can control how we respond to them and whether or not we choose to overcome them, no matter how bad things get. No matter how full this gets, your heart, right? Size of your fist. No matter how much pain, fills that up, there's still room for love and for Christ and God to heal. The opposite of success is not failure, rather quitting or giving up. And listen, you're one of those beautiful roses who has grown through the concrete and is now starting to blossom into an even more incredible flower. Always remember to keep your head up and that you're a miracle. Peace in, Mr. Peace. P.S. I just wrote, and this goes for anybody out there, if this is beyond serious, right? The email I got was just those couple words that I read earlier, a couple sentences, but I said if this is beyond serious, you need to get extra help even beyond this email right away. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline phone number is 1-800-273-8255. Please do not hesitate to call them if you need to. You are loved. Something like this too, I'm obligated legally, but more so morally and from the human being standpoint, that I have to get this person help too, even beyond my email back. So it turns out, that was a huge help for this person, and we went back and forth a couple times, and they're doing better, and they're getting support, and they're getting help. But something like this, yes, I have to forward, on to the counselor or parent, teacher, someone that's part of this person's life, to let them know what's going on. That sometimes people don't know that they're having those thoughts, and it could be straight A student, could be whoever it is, but people are still in pain. I've heard stories before, a student from Grosse Pointe North High School here in Michigan that had done an assignment. It said compare yourself to an inanimate object, and this was for English class. And he compared himself to a rubber band. And he said, I keep getting stretched and stretched and stretched. And pretty soon, if people keep stretching me, if this stress doesn't stop, I'm gonna snap. I'm gonna break, right? This guy was class president, straight A's, just top notch, top level in his class, and great student, great kid. But nobody ever thought, that he might have thoughts of checking out too. And his parents reviewed they had to have a parent signature, sign off to review the assignments before it was turned in. They had peer editing going on. Some of his classmates read it. Even his teacher, read it and handed it back to him with a grade. But yet nobody really got that this person was screaming, just crying out for help. And it happens that way too so many times because, we're so full of pain and hurt ourselves that we're so focused on that we can't even realize someone else out there that's right next to us, even these high achieving people, that they're crying for help too until we fix ourselves. So we have to do that. That's a must. That's our purpose. And people that have, had thoughts of checking out but are now doing great, or had self-harm issues and are now doing great, I tell them, look, you're here for a reason still, You got to share your story. You got to help someone else that's going through the same stuff, the same storm. Rainbows come after a storm, and new life springs up because of a storm, right? That has to happen in order for new life to take root. And that new life is in us, if we choose that. The person that compared himself to that inanimate object, he took his life a week later, and he hung himself. Guys, we have to be aware of not only the worth inside of us and the miracle inside of us, but the people around us, and have an open enough mind and heart and spirit and everything about us that we know when someone else is screaming and that they need us. They need you. So please, let Erica's message, this person that I read, right, let it speak to your heart and help heal you whatever way it needs to. And if you need to get help, please do so from the information that's listed in this video and what I mentioned earlier. Anything on your hearts, email me at mrpeace@mrpeace.net. Send me a YouTube comment, a direct message, whatever you need to do to share your heart. I don't have all the answers, but he does, and that's who guides me when I respond back. Much love. Peace.